I've been making YouTube videos and writing articles about pseudoscientific grifters for 15-ish years now. And it seems like each year, more and more of the same characters just keep showing up, often in new and surprising ways, making more and more connections with each other. They say misery loves company, but I say not as much as scam artists do. Today, I want to talk about Mark Hyman. While I have actually never talked about Mark Hyman in depth on this channel, one of my writers at Skepchick did almost a decade ago. Kavin Senapathy covered his presence at the online Microbiome Medicine Summit in early 2016, where he joined fellow dangerous health grifters like Joseph Mercola and Deepak Chopra to peddle some bullshit. Hyman claimed that the supplements he sold, which now include 1 month's supply of tiny packets for $199, would optimize customers' microbiomes, despite the fact that these supplements are not now, nor have they ever been regulated by any government agency for safety or efficacy. Even before Trump took office and obliterated the Food and Drug Administration, the most the agency could really do was fine companies after their supplements were found to actually endanger people's lives. Hyman was never really on my radar, but this month he just keeps turning up like a bad penny. First, I heard that Sweetgreen, a fast food place that specializes in salads, has collaborated with Hyman and his company Function Health, which provides blood and urine testing for $400 a year. Together, they've developed a very special menu that celebrates the chemistry between real food and your body, which I think means every time you take a bite of spinach, a mariachi band strikes up, to celebrate. They called the campaign a menu designed to love you back, which is hilarious and also so very disrespectful because I guarantee you that the cow that lived a horrible short life only to be slaughtered and processed into an $18 salad you eat at your desk does not, in fact, love you back. That cow fucking hates your guts.
Don't kid yourself, Jimmy. If a cow ever got the chance, he'd eat you and everyone you care about.
Anyway, as if that wasn't a sweet enough paycheck for Hyman, I then learned on Tuesday that the Trump regime mouthpiece Barry Weiss, who last year was tapped to completely destroy CBS News, has chosen Hyman to be one of the podcasters replacing the real journalists who Weiss has alienated and will quit or probably be fired. This isn't just a problem because of Hyman's penchant for using every opportunity to shill his useless and overpriced supplements, and now salads, I guess. Hold on to your monocles, everyone, because here's the big reveal. Hyman is also a best buddy of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the noted anti-vax, worm-brained, legendary fail son who is currently running the United States Department of Health and Human Services. In 2015, RFK wrote a pissy little letter to the New York Times to defend his anti-vax book, Thimerosal, Let the Science Speak, which posits that thimerosal, a form of mercury, is the cause of autism, despite the fact that that ingredient has never been included in most vaccines, like the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, and was removed from all childhood vaccines several decades ago, just in case. There was no actual evidence that it was unsafe, but people like RFK did so much fear-mongering that it was easier to just remove this preservative. Despite these completely inarguable facts, RFK says that he and Mark Hyman identified hundreds of peer-reviewed studies by government and university scientists showing that thimerosal, a mercury-containing preservative, is a devastating toxin linked to neurological disorders now epidemic in American children. Among these were 39 studies strongly suggesting that thimerosal causes autism. None of that is true, of course, but the New York Times published that letter anyway because they're the New York Times, and he is technically a Kennedy. According to the New York Times profile of Hyman from 2024, his anti-vax bona fides went back even further. Years earlier, Dr. Hyman had published an article in the journal Alternative Therapies in Health and Medicine, where he served as editor-in-chief, describing a 2-year-old who was diagnosed with autism shortly after receiving the standard suite of childhood vaccines. Dr. Hyman said that the boy also had high levels of mercury in his body. Again, there is no mercury in childhood vaccines, and the idea that mercury caused autism had been thoroughly debunked by that point. In the 2010s, a lot of otherwise respected medical facilities started cashing in on the growing popularity of holistic grifters like Hyman. And so in 2014, the Cleveland Clinic became the first to offer a Center for Functional Medicine, tapping Hyman as the founding director, which he credited with establishing his credibility to study the effects of heavy metals and toxins and raise awareness about toxic exposures, which also helped to boost RFK's anti-vax organization, Children's Health Defense. Cool. Great job, Cleveland Clinic. Love it. Doctors at the clinic would refer patients to Hyman's bullshit factory for useless testing and, naturally, a prescription for his supplements. One patient's doctor at the clinic gave her a referral code to order vitamins from Dr. Hyman's company, which shared a percentage of its sales revenue with the hospital. The doctor also recommended Gregorian chanting and forest bathing. Mwah, incredible stuff. Hyman met RFK thanks to his lectures on all this bullshit, with the New York Times reporting that RFK's wife at the time, Mary Richardson Kennedy, was in the audience at one such lecture in 2009. 3 years later, after reading RFK's diary full of his accounts of cheating on her with dozens of women, and after RFK completely cut her off financially to the point where she had to ask other mothers for $20 to cover gas for their kids' school drop-offs, Mary would hang herself in their barn. That doesn't have anything to do with Mark Hyman per se. I just thought it was worth mentioning in case anyone out there didn't know. In the following 15 years, the New York Times profile makes it clear that Hyman and his fellow crooks identified RFK as a soft target and a potential boost to their grift. He convinced RFK that insurance should cover nonsensical diagnostic scams like those offered by Function Health, and that the FDA should stop focusing on pharmaceutical drugs that actually work and instead promote special diets, like, for instance, the Peegan diet. Yes, Mark Hyman has his own diet that he called the Peegan diet, and somehow he has not been bullied mercilessly for this. It's apparently a combination of paleo and vegan, but instead of going with like Vigalo or at least Peegan, he chose the portmanteau that most makes it sound like all you get to eat is tofu and piss. It's as if he was really into water sports, but he felt he needed an excuse to bring it up to potential partners. Like, hey, can you do me a favor and piss in my mouth? Oh, no, don't worry. It's not some weird fetish. It's just that I'm on the very healthy Peegan diet and my doctor insists upon it. Look, I've got a prescription from the Cleveland Clinic. Anyway, a lot of people were surprised that a supposed lefty like RFK, with his supposed lefty anti-vax conspiracy theories, was so fully embraced by the MAGA authoritarian right-wing movement. But all of this is exactly why. It's a grift. MAGA is a grift, anti-vax is a grift, supplements are a grift. And the way to sell supplements and other sham treatments is to decrease people's trust in the medical establishment and to decrease trust in the government's ability to provide safe and effective medical treatment and guidance. In a place where universal health care is guaranteed, where people are able to easily access preventative care and science-based treatment, and they're not scared to, say, get that spot checked because they don't want to go bankrupt, giant grifters like Mark Hyman have a much harder time making money. As I've been saying for years now, Project 2025 explicitly wanted to destroy government institutions like the FDA and Health and Human Services. So, of course, grifters like Hyman would join in. After all, when he's made billions from the poor saps who think they can salad and supplement themselves to good health, he can afford all the real medicine he wants. So yeah, that's Mark Hyman. And no, I didn't even get around to making fun of his last name because I knew you guys would probably want to have a go at that in the comments. Please have fun with it. And if you needed another reason to avoid eating at Sweetgreen and watching CBS News now that Barry Weiss is in charge, well, there you go. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you loved the video, please subscribe. And if you think the world could use more videos like this and you happen to have a few bucks laying around, head to patreon.com/Rebecca and join an awesome community of nerds like the people whose names you see on the screen right now. Thanks.